I personally wish I knew that because it took me 7 months to even get my first deal, mostly because of the same thing. Or I wasn't having conversations. I was just driving around.
Welcome to the Ascend Your Success podcast. Whether you're just starting out or are a veteran looking to grow your business, you're in the right place. Join us to learn how to achieve financial freedom while working and living life on your own terms. Hear valuable insights, strategies, and interviews with successful entrepreneurs. Get ready to achieve the success you've always dreamed of. Ready? Let's go.
What's going on, guys? My name is Y. Reed, and this is the Ascend Your Success podcast. And today I get to interview David Lecko, who is the founder, CEO of DealMachine, which is a platform that helps investors get off-market deals, a lot around driving for dollars, I believe, but there's so much more to it than just that, right? So I'm excited to be able to dive deep into it with the man himself. So David, thanks so much for being a part of this.
Absolutely. Yeah, we started with driving for dollars 8 years ago. But this year alone, we've grown 44%, mostly because people come to us for the unlimited contact info where you could filter all the properties and we've pre-linked who owns it. So you could filter things like ethnicity, how many properties they own, their net worth, their credit score, and you get that without the incremental nickel and dime kind of skip tracing cost. So it's definitely been an evolution for myself and my own investing, but also the tool that a lot of others are using too.
Yes, that was one of the things that I was wanting to hit on this today. So before we get into that, let's pull it back a little bit and talk about the origins of DealMachine. Like, how did DealMachine come about? Like, were you in real estate first and seen the need, or what did that look like? How'd you kind of get into this?
Yeah, I was actually working 2 years out of college, and I took a pay cut to work for an entrepreneur. So I was making 70 and then I was making 50. But that taught me how to start a business. He had rental properties. So I understood from him that instead of putting money in the stock market and letting that go up and down, he bought those properties right, managed them well so that they cash flowed every single month. And that was going to allow him to retire by the age of 40. So I took the pay cut to learn the knowledge. And then I went out on my own to go look for my own properties. But it was a little bit discouraging to hear him say that he's not sure that, you could find as good a deals as he did because now the market has increased the value of the real estate. So at the time, it was pretty discouraging, but I actually read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, found out that you can find properties like that off market by looking for rundown houses, driving around, and then asking those owners if they want to sell their properties. So that was actually the common advice from the book and real estate meetup that I went to locally. So I thought I'd go ahead and do that. What I noticed was everyone was being taught to do that, but there was a little bit of an issue I was having with driving around too much and not having enough conversations. So I missed out on a deal because I was just driving around for months without ever reaching out and asking those owners if they wanted to sell. So I kind of took a weekend. And after realizing I missed out on a deal because I never even reached out, to create like a very basic app. And I had some basic programming skills. I went to school for computer engineering. So I made a basic app that would let me, pin a house and tell me who the owner was by accessing the county records, and then also sending a piece of mail immediately to that owner through a third party that would print and send my mail if I connected my app, and so that's how it started out. Somebody at the meetup wanted to use it. And so I put it on the App Store and gave it a name so they could get it on their phone. So kind of first 5 years, that's what we were known for. But that latest evolution, like I said, this year has driven a lot of growth and helped a lot of investors who maybe even are more advanced and they're not driving for dollars anymore, but they want to access the best data and they want to actually seamlessly call from where they're accessing the data. And that's what's driven our growth most recently. And what's definitely been exciting, having access to the skip trace data, but without having to pay for it, but having also the more advanced version where you could filter by the skip tracing data before you even press a button to skip trace it because it's pre-matched in the system.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. That's so crazy. So going into the evolution of this, quick if we're talking about skip tracing, there's a lot of new people that are listening to this that are probably like, what the heck is skip tracing? So that's essentially where you load up a list or some contacts to a software that pulls records that finds you their phone numbers, their emails, or different ways to contact you, right? Or for you to contact them. So let's talk about that. Originally, it was I'm assuming it was a free app on the App Store where you could pin it and get the postcard. And I think the postcard at that time, because I've had DealMachine for a while, it was like I think it was $1 or 99 cents or something like that to send a postcard. And then I think it had a picture. This may have been a little later, but it had a picture of the actual house that you pinned, right?
Right.
So that was super cool. So moving forward, what was the changes you made at kind of like a basic level? How can we utilize this app today to find deals?
I like to go to the tax delinquent list, and I like to go to, property owners that have had expired listings, which are two quick lists you could definitely pull from the system. There's over 600 different filters like that, where you could identify property owners that may be distressed. We even have a building condition filter where you could filter what condition the physical property is in. And that comes from a lot of counties actually publish that, but we've normalized it and provided it to you so you could quickly get a list of those types of properties. And then you could send direct mail, or you could call those property owners straight from the app.
Love it. Love it. So you can go in, you can pull a list, you can skip trace the list, and you can do multiple streams of marketing from this one app. I think that is so important, especially with new beginners, that they focus on one thing and really like dial in, revenue in first position, right? And so if they can find something that's kind of like an all-in-one thing, if they're gonna pay for marketing, it needs to be some type of done for you or all-in-one thing that they can just focus on that one thing, right? Because when you're first starting out, you've got this shiny syndrome. You want to do anything and everything, and some people are telling you do direct mail, some people are saying texting, and you just don't know what to do. And I think that's so cool that you guys kind of have a one-stop shop for that. What were some of the challenges that you guys faced building this, and how it's evolved over the past several years?
Yeah.
What were some of those issues?
So we're 8 years in. About 5 years in, we had a huge amount of growth. Everybody gave us ideas, and we worked tirelessly to build every single idea that they had. But in that 6th year, it was kind of challenging for somebody to pick up the app and know what to do because it had so many things that we just kind of built together. So we've spent a lot of time in the last couple of years making the app very, very seamless and simple to use for somebody who's just getting started. And if you want the advanced features, some of those are available in the Teams plan, which is more expensive, but they're not there confusing anyone who's brand new. So it's a very difficult challenge to have the capabilities of doing a lot of different types of marketing or filtering without making it seem overwhelming and complicated. So I'm very proud of how we've been able to do that. It was definitely a challenge that we faced about 3 years ago.
Absolutely. Moving forward, if you can talk about it, what are some of the things that you'd like to see implemented in DealMachine in the future as well?
So we've pre-matched the data, and we're going to have an upgrade to the data with about 70 more people filters. So these are not property. This is on our database of information we have about people. And so those are going to come out in November. And one of the things that I'm really excited about is if you looked up 10 different properties, we've pre-matched the owner successfully for about 8 out of 10. And so we're making an enhancement that will increase that to 9 out of 10. So it's really going to close the gap for any of those properties that we haven't pre-matched for. Now, there's a tool that exists today that a lot of people don't know about called the private investigator tool that you can use when we do not have a confirmed match for who owns that property. And have you used this, by the way? Did you
No,
know about this?
I don't think I have.
Okay, got it.
I'm going to write it down and go look at it, though.
Yeah. Well, okay. So you like kind of pulling your hair out if you actually can't find the match, but there's a magnifying glass by the owner's name where you can filter through every person in the United States who has the same owner's name as the property county record shows. So it's really, really powerful because everyone's in the database. So you could match and get successfully in contact with everyone if you use that private investigator tool right now. So what we're going to do in November is even make our pre-done matching even better. So you have to use that less. But what's great is that tool is so powerful itself, and it's available right now.
Yeah, I love that. I love how you guys are going deeper into the data and making sure that it's legitimate, because there are so many platforms out there now that just throw out just trash data, and they're more focused on growing different marketing streams rather than fixing
Right.
the data side of it. And I'm a
Well,
big data nerd, so I love that.
yeah. Well, it's difficult, and it's our secret sauce right now, the way we're doing it, because pretty much every other place where you get, the skip trace data, you just get random phone numbers and emails. But when you're receiving it from DealMachine, you're getting a whole record on a person. So you may have multiple people matched, and then within that person's match, you see their income, their education level, where they went to school, who their family members are, as well as their phone numbers and emails. So it's a lot less random and more holistic. And that's what allows us to also be a bit more accurate.
That let me ask you a couple of personal questions, since we've been talking about DealMachine so much. As far as real estate goes, what have you focused on in real estate, as far as your personal investing side?
Yeah, I've done 7 deals this year, made $125,000 on one deal alone. I've always been focused on using the BRRRR strategy: buy, renovate, rent, refinance, repeat. And I've always gone to find my own deals. As I mentioned at the beginning, I was doing the driving for dollars. So I've done 7 deals this year. And so the reason why I was so excited about doing more deals this year was because I had done about 9, and then DealMachine kind of took off. So I focused mostly on DealMachine for a few years, did nothing with the rentals. But then I noticed those 9 properties appreciated $1 million total in 4 years, and I did nothing for that. So I was like, damn, I really wish I had more properties. So that really motivated me to do more deals again, because the cash flow is nice. They do pay for themselves and put some extra, money in my pocket every month. But that appreciation was really significant, and I just didn't even do anything. So that was pretty exciting, and why I've started doing deals again this year.
Yeah, that's amazing. I took, similar to you, when we started the coaching last year, it took off. I changed up my model a little bit. I was doing one-on-one, and I changed to more of a community-based model, and it just blew up. And so I took a step back, and it was actually really nice, because over the past 5 years, I've just been in such a hustle mode. And this year I really took off. We still done several deals, but it was nice to take a step back and enjoy the fruits of the labor over the past 5 years, and really focus on helping other people. And man, I'm ready to gear back up. I'm already starting to put systems and processes in place so that I can kind of gear back up next year. But yeah, this year has been so nice, because we've taken 7 vacations. We went so many different places, and I absolutely love it. So that's awesome, man. Tell us, how can we get a hold of you or your team, or how can we get some more information on DealMachine? If there's somebody that's still got some more questions, tell us how we can do that.
Yeah, I've been focused on my Instagram, Lecko. That's the best place to talk about and learn about my real estate investing, get in touch with me. And also, I've got a hobby of racing cars that I got into this past year. And that journey has been pretty well documented on the Instagram as well. A lot of people want to race cars, and they want to find a sponsor, but it's just not how it works, unfortunately. You've got to pay yourself unless you've got a wealthy relative to help get you started when you're a kid. So that's been a fun tie-in to not only the real estate investing content, but what it can allow you to do once you start a business and have a real estate investing business for a few years.
Awesome. So y'all check out his Instagram, go follow him. One last thing before we get off here is, knowing what you know now over the past 8 years, you are a super, super smart guy. But everything that you've learned over the past 8 years, if you could go back and start over, or you could give some advice to some of these new people that are just getting started, what would that be?
Yes. One of the biggest mistakes that I see when somebody brand new comes in is they actually look at a rundown house and they get fixated on that one property. Maybe they did 500 cold calls, and they had 4 appointments and none of them panned out. They get discouraged. They get embarrassed because their parents or their family members see them trying but not getting any results. And the pressure builds up to that they end up just wanting to quit and do something else. But if you talk to people like yourself, Wyatt, who are successful and realize it takes 12 appointments on average that you guys might go on. I don't know what your numbers are, but just saying, to get a deal. If you're a beginner, I mean, you should double that because your lack of skill will make that number need to be even a bit bigger. So it can actually help to stop wasting time worrying. And when you know that data, then you can invest all that time into positive action, making more calls, having more conversations. But it could really slow you down when you feel like you're not very good. And that's going to be helpful if you talk to somebody like Wyatt, especially, I mean, do your own local market, find somebody in your own local market as well, and figure out, what those numbers look like for somebody advanced there. And I personally wish I knew that because it took me 7 months to even get my first deal, mostly because of the same thing, or I wasn't having conversations. I was just driving around, so that's what I wish I would have known.
Yeah, man. I see way too many people stop too early because they don't just get that success as quick as they think they should get it. And I've had to talk so many people off the ledge from that. It's like, if it was that easy, everybody do it. Everybody be millionaires in real estate and own properties. And if it was easy, everybody do it. And so you've got to get around the right community that's going to push you and keep you leveled out and encourage you when you're down. And it's so important. That's with anything you're doing, not just business, but spirituality, your health, your anything that you've got going on in life. You need community, right? So I love that, man. Well, thank you so much for being on here. It was awesome getting to know you and kind of getting to know DealMachine a little bit better, man. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thanks, Wyatt.
Yes, sir. Hey guys, if y'all heard anything that you liked, you think you're interested in getting into real estate, go to ascendyoursuccess.com and fill out an application, and I'll talk to you personally. I look at every single application and I give you a call or shoot you a text. So whether you're in or out, we'll see you on the next episode.